Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Janet Soriano, and you're watching the Profitable Marketing Sessions. We're here to help you go from an idea to a profitable business. We come here every Wednesday to talk to you about strategies, tips, and tricks that you can use to move your business forward and create a profitable business. I am so glad that you're here. Today, my name is Janet Soriano, and today we're talking about what keeps you from attracting the right people into your business and how you can shift it, right? So if you are not careful, there's sometimes, have you ever heard the phrase of like, the right people will always come to your life at the right time, right? That is something that I truly believe in that the right people will come to your life at the right time. But when it comes to business, we can definitely keep yourself from attracting the right people if you're not careful, and also in life too as well, right? So today we're going to talk about how to attract the right people into your business and the 3 mistakes that you need to avoid in order to attract the right people into your business, right? So we're also going to let you know that today is the last day to book a discovery call with me if you've been wanting to up-level your website, if you've been wanting to work on your messaging and really hone in on your marketing positioning and how you are showcasing yourself on your website, on your social media content, right? So my web design services will go up significantly on April 1st. So today is the last day for you to book a discovery call. Just because you book a discovery call doesn't mean that you need to buy or you're obligated to buy. The discovery call is to simply to discuss your goals, discuss your vision, and see if we're a good fit to actually work together. I do not work with everyone, so these discovery calls are very crucial for me to really understand if you're the right client for me, right? So also after April 1st, yes, I just said that, you would want to grab a discovery call to work with me if you have no idea why your website isn't working with you, right? Why people are coming and visiting your website and they're not subscribing, they're not booking calls, and they're not buying from your website, right? If that's your current problem, that's exactly the problem that I help my clients solve. So even just to give you some perspective, some new things that I can show you or that I can point and give you a different perspective on, you would love to get on the discovery call, even if you don't buy from me. But if you book a discovery call before 11:59 tonight and you decide to work with me on your web design project, on your messaging, you are going to be able to lock down my current pricing before tomorrow, okay? Then it will go up significantly, and this is the lowest rate that I will ever have in my lifetime. So let's go dive into today's session, okay? So again, we're gonna learn today how to attract the right people into your business and the 3 mistakes that you need to avoid in order to make your messaging work for you, right? So oftentimes we stop people from, we stop or we keep ourselves from attracting the right people because we're not careful with our messaging, right? So I remember when I had a client a few years ago, her name is Lorena, she's a psychotherapist. And she came to me because she needed a website. She needed a website update, right? Her website that she had at the time was very simple. It was very easy to navigate, but it wasn't speaking to the clients that she actually wanted to attract, right? Her messaging was vague, it was unorganized, and it was talking to a lot of people at the same time, right? So this mistake is something that we tend to do when we start our businesses. And it's okay if you're doing it right now. I'm not here to judge you or anything, but what we tend to do is we tend to talk to anyone and everyone because we feel that our services can clearly help anyone who has a problem that they're facing. If they're facing that problem, then you feel that anybody can just come and buy your products and services. And this is somewhat true, right? But when it comes to our messaging, The thing is that when we create messaging that is vague, that is unorganized, that is not directing people to the right people to work with you, then the right people is not going to identify themselves in your messaging, right? So you eventually leave it up to fate for them to actually identify themselves with their messaging and actually raise their hand and say that they're ready to work with you, right? So eventually, if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. I'm pretty sure that you have heard this before, but it is so true, because when you're talking to everyone, it's going to be very, very hard for the right clients, for the real clients that you want to work with, to actually identify themselves so clearly in your messaging that they understand that it's right for them and they're ready to buy what you have because it's exactly what they need and exactly what they want, right? So today we're going to talk about how to attract the right people into your business by excluding the wrong people, right? So the only way to get the right people to pay attention to your product, to your services, to what you're selling and what you have to offer is by telling people who you are for and who you are not for, right? So no one can really be for everyone, right? There's no way that if you're a mom and you're helping other moms go through maybe a postpartum period of depression and stuff like that, and maybe there's people that are not moms who are not your ideal clients, right? um, Maybe that is a discrepancy where not everyone is going to be your ideal client, and all we have to do is just accept that so we can be able to attract the right clients into our business. So you may be thinking that, but yeah, Janet, anyone can really buy my services because it's a product or it's a service that a lot of people have the need for it, right? And yeah, this could maybe be true, but again, if you take this approach of talking to everyone, you also take the approach of talking to no one, right? You take the approach of meaning that people who need it the most, people who would want to raise their hand and say, yes, that's for me, are not going to do that because they don't identify themselves in your messaging. They don't identify themselves in the product that you're selling or the need for the product that you're selling, right? Or the service that you're selling, right? So in order for your messaging to be effective, your client, the right client needs to identify themselves that, oh yes, that's me. And I want that and I need that. And here's my money. Let me get that, right? So if you are speaking to everyone, you tend to be very vague, very confusing, very unorganized with your messaging, and not very specific to what the problem that you solve and who you solve it for. And meaning everybody's just not going to raise their hand because they don't identify with what you're saying, right? So like I said, a confused mind always says no. And if you seen my past profitable marketing session where we talked about messaging as well, you understand that if you're talking to your ideal client in a way that is confusing and unorganized, meaning you're very vague, you're very, in plural, not being specific, you're going to lose that client because that client is going to be confused and they're not going to stay around to figure out what you do or who you do it for. They're going to leave. They're going to be distracted by something else, right? So if you don't do your due diligence to find out who is your ideal client and how would they most benefit from buying your products and services, then you lose your ability to attract the right client, to attract the right people into your business, right? So now we're going to go into the 3 mistakes that you need to avoid in order for your messaging to actually really, really work and be effective and actually have people buying your products and services, right? So 3 things that you don't want to do, right? And these 3 things are basically the things that if you make these subtle shifts in your messaging, you're going to see the effectiveness of how you're messaging, right? So I want you to take these 3 things, not to judge yourself around what you're doing, or maybe you're doing, maybe because you may be doing these, any of these 3 mistakes, But actually to just shift it around, right? Shift it around so you can be able to see the difference in your bottom line and to actually see how your clients react to this different approach to your messaging, right? So the number one is talking to your ideal client like they're a robot. I've done this before. And we got to understand that the person viewing the website, the person behind that social media account that's scrolling through your content, is a real human being, right? They have fears, they have doubts, and they have dreams. So we need to make it easier for them to connect with us. We need to understand that the whole human experience is about making connections, and making a human to human connection is the gateway for you to actually attracting them to your business, right? Does this mean that you gotta go and tell all your sad stories or create an about page that it's so so deeply sad that they need to connect with you in that way? No, but you need to let them into your life, in somewhat of the aspect of who you are, what you do, and how you help them, right? And this is going to create trust and build that momentum and that connection with them, right? Therefore, having more people interested in what you have to say because you have created that trust and that like and that know factor, right? The second thing is that you're assuming that your clients know what you're talking about every time that you talk about something, right? So sometimes maybe as a psychotherapist or a therapist or some, some intellectuality that you may have around the topic, and you're talking to your ideal clients as if they should know what you're talking about, right? And then you start using these fancy, long, confusing words that make no sense, but make you feel fancy and intellectual. And you use these words to actually kind of like demonstrate that you are somewhat intelligent and you're credible on what you do. But what you tend to do is actually just confuse more of your clients and actually keep them away from being attracted to you, being attracted to your business, right? So what we got to do is stop assuming that people know what we're talking about and actually explain things in terms that a 7-year-old could read them and really understand, right? So it's not about being intellectual or trying to sound smart. Marketing is really about making your clients feel comfortable around the topic that you're talking about, making your clients feel that they can trust you, again, everything is about creating trust with your clients, creating that connection, right? And when you're using these fancy words and these words that, yes, make you feel intellectual and smart, you tend to make a disconnection from your clients and they don't really get it, right? And they're confused, they're more confused than they would have been, and it just doesn't create that, that connection with them. So please, if you're doing this, if you're assuming that your clients should know what you're talking about, they shouldn't, right? That's why you're there to provide value. That's why you're there to talk to them. That's why you're there to, help them through that process, right? The third thing is guessing what your clients need and want, right? So oftentimes we make the mistake that even when we start our business, that we create this ideal client avatar, right? And we go on to the demographics of who is our ideal client. She is a 25-year-old, she lives in New York, and you know all the demographics of your ideal client, right? You start guessing what they may need and may want, and you think you know what they need and what they want. But then you go and create a product, create a service around what you think they need and what they want, only to realize that what they truly want is really different from what you're offering, right? Which leaves you in the dark and not really understanding that the service or the product that you spend so much time and so much effort creating, nobody really wants or nobody really needs, right? And that's what creates crickets around that. So in order to eliminate this and stop this mistake from happening, you need to make it your homework to actually go out there, speak to real humans, really understand what they need and what they want, right? It's not about, it cannot be a guessing game anymore. A lot of people are guessing what people want, and we can't do that if we really want to sell from a place of helping, right? If you really want to help your ideal clients create or have the transformation that you want them to have, you really got to go and speak to them and see exactly what they want, because what you think they may want is not exactly what they actually want, right? So I'm just going to go and recap the 3 mistakes that you need to avoid in your messaging. Talk to your ideal clients like they're your friends. Stop talking to them like they're robots. Number 2 is stop assuming that you know that your clients know what you're talking about, right? Start explaining things in the most simplest way. Break things down as easier as a 7-year-old could really understand it. And number 3 is stop guessing what your clients want and go out there and actually ask them what they want, right? So you can actually have a product and a service that's actually going to sell because it's actually what your clients want and what your clients need, okay? So with this said, it's also crucial that we don't work on our messaging on ourselves, right? It is also crucial that we create some level of support around our messaging, meaning that we get support around how to position and talk to our clients, right? Messaging is the most unsexiest part when it comes to our marketing plan or our business, right? It's the part where we most dread, and we spend a lot of time being very confused on what to say and how to say it, right? But as the CEO of your business, you have to understand that you are the jelly inside the jar, meaning that you're too close for your business to sometimes see a different perspective, to market and sell your business from a position that will actually get you clients, right? So whether you get my support or you get a support from someone else, I want you to get that support. I want you to understand that your messaging will only be more clear and more effective when you have a second set of eyes looking at it from a different perspective, right? When you understand that you can get feedback either from, from real clients or from a coach or from someone out there who has done it before you. So that's why when creating your messaging, there's some level of support that you need to acquire for you to actually nail your messaging, be on point, and actually be effective, right? Oftentimes we think that, oh, I think I got my messaging right, and this is exactly what my clients need. But then you find out, maybe you get some feedback from your clients, or you get feedback from a coach, and you see a different perspective, just a little tweak that you can make that can position you better and with more effectiveness about how to book ideal clients. So if you need help with your messaging, if you need to revamp your website, if you need help getting more clients, going from idea to a profitable business, that's what I'm here to support you with. That's what I'm here to do. Is what I do all day, every day. When it comes to my messaging, when it comes to helping my clients build a profitable business. So today, again, is the last day for you to book this call and book a discovery call with me and see if we're a good fit to design your website, to revamp that messaging, to really understand how you're going to be able to attract the right people into your business. Thank you so much for being here. If you love today's value, please share with your friends and your colleagues, or anyone who may need to hear a new perspective on their messaging and understand this, okay? Before I leave, I want to leave you with a foreword from Lorena. So this is a testimonial that Lorena gave me, and I would love to read it to you. So Lorena said, before working with Janet, my website looked really homemade, not in a good way, and the content was less organized and clear. This is the first time I hired someone to help me with my website, and I decided to work with Janet because I liked her style and her personality on her website. My favorite part of the journey was seeing the web design and the content elevate at each stage of the process. And that was so exciting to me. It was helpful for me to understand that the more clear I can make my content for my clients, the more I will serve them in the highest good, because they will have clarity around the services that I provide, as well as the entire process and the fees that I have. I love my website. Jana's a great helping business owners think about the way they're communicating with potential clients about their services, and her sense of design is top notch. Thank you, Lorena. And if you're thinking about designing a beautiful strategic website, Janet is the go-to person. I now have a clear and more precise content that speaks to my ideal client. I have better use of the design and the layouts, the colors and the images, and everything just works together. I am inspired to finally start my blog and create ongoing content. It was a great experience, Lorena. Thank you so much, Lorena. Thank you so much for being an amazing client. And I will leave you for today. Thank you so much for being here, and take care. Bye.